back. A Wisconsin senator wants more scrutiny on who buys American farmland. Today, Senator Tammy Baldwin is introducing the bipartisan Farmland Security Act of 2023 with Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa. The goal of the bill is to monitor foreign investment and ownership of American farmland. We are joined by U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get right down to the bill. Can you simplify what this does for our viewers here today?
Absolutely. So when foreign investors who often don't live in our communities buy up our farmland, it can really put our national security at risk. It can put our domestic food supply at risk, and it can have an impact on our local and mostly rural economies. And so this bipartisan legislation will let Wisconsinites know who's buying up our agricultural land and how foreign ownership is impacting our rural communities, our family farms, and our national security. Our agricultural economy really powers many of Wisconsin's rural communities. And so I'm really proud to work on this important measure on behalf of our family farmers and ranchers and growers across the state of Wisconsin.
Does this bill build upon a bill that you and Senator Grassley passed last year then?
It sure does. Okay. So, you know, the U.S. Department of Agriculture was already tasked with tracking foreign ownership of agricultural land. But what we can tell is that this data is very much incomplete and in many cases dated. It's not current. So I was proud to work once again with Senator Grassley to put some teeth into that Farmland Security Act that we passed last year. And it made some important changes. When I say giving it teeth, I talk about enforcement and the ability to charge fines for those who fail to comply with the reporting requirements, the notification requirements. It also, for the first time, cracks down on what I would describe as shell corporations that hide the true identity of the folks who are buying the land. So these are like corporations that are put together to mask the identity of the true purchasers. We also have more reporting, research, and auditing requirements. So hopefully we are going to be able to get a true picture of what's going on in Wisconsin and across the country.
And you kind of touched on this a little bit. You said the reporting requirements. Also, there's a research part of this bill. What are some of those specific concerns that you're hoping to come out of this?
Yeah, you know, I often think about the fact that it's one thing to own the land, but you can have a huge foreign influence even without owning the land. For example, foreign corporation, and there are many such corporations that operate across the United States, can contract with a farmer and have them raise livestock that is actually owned by the foreign corporation, not by the farmer themselves. And so that is like, you may own the farmland, but you don't own really much of the operation occurring on it. Same is true with the folks who are growing crops. And so we really need to understand that further.
And while this bill kind of focuses on those outside investors, those foreign investments, what are some of the bills? I mean, I know that you've supported bills that help our local farmers. As you know, we've heard over the years, farms shutting down, generations getting out of the business just because of hardships. I know that there's the Dairy Business Innovation Act of 2023 that kind of helps with technology. What are we doing to help farmers here right now?
So the Dairy Business Innovation Act was a measure that I'm very proud to have authored that's in the current Farm Bill. But we're working on a new Farm Bill, and so I want to see that program continued but also expanded. The folks who have signed up to participate in the Dairy Business Innovation Act, there's more interest than there is capacity to serve those farmers. And it really allows dairy farmers and processors to do a number of things. There's actually myriad tools available through that program, including things like business plans and technical assistance, but also things like lowering your bottom line by creating more efficient operations on your farm or in your creamery, and also assistance and grants with perhaps adding value to your product or creating a new aspect of your business. Whether that's maybe selling butter off the farm or having a more efficient milking operation, updating equipment in a cheese factory. All of those things are things that are a part regularly of the Dairy Business Innovation Initiative. And we just want to see more folks who are challenged by all these headwinds be able to, add to their bottom line.
Senator, thank you so much for your time and giving us a little bit more insight into this bill.
My pleasure.